What happened to Kendrick Johnson? He was found rolled up inside a gym's mat at Georgia High School. 12 years ago marked the anniversary in part by renewing calls for accountability in a case for which no one has been held responsible. Jackie Johnson took to Facebook on Friday to remind her friends and followers that Kendrick, 17 years old, was beaten to his death. January 10th, 2013, and nothing has been done as of January 10th, 2025. Demands for justice in the case have endured since that fateful day in 2013 at Lowndes County High School, as Johnson's family has persistently raised awareness. That includes this past September when Jackie Johnson traveled to D.C. on behalf of the Kendrick Johnson Foundation to hold a press conference.
Thousands of hours of surveillance, Anderson, are coming. 40 cameras about in that area of the gym, up to 48 hours for each camera. So our math, 1,900 plus hours. Now we do have a clip of what's happening inside the gym at the moment that Kendrick Johnson walks in. Remember, the school's attorney says that there were other minors in the gym. Those minors, we've blurred them to protect their identity, but they're playing basketball near the camera. We see Kendrick run at the bottom of the screen to the far side of the court. Now, we know that that's where the mats are, and we know this is just a few minutes before, according to police, that's when he went inside the mat. So we're waiting for the rest of this, what we're told is a massive file that could come in the next few days, Anderson.
And I mean, in that video, the gym all looks very open. The mats, are they visible to the people in the gym? I mean, we see Kendrick running on the lower right-hand side of the screen and other folks playing basketball. Are the mats in another room, or are they out in the open? Do we know?
No, they're in the gym. We've seen still photographs and a map of the gym. They are in, if you're looking at the screen, they would be in the top right corner, just outside of the screen. That's the corner in which Kendrick Johnson was found. Now, there is no specific timestamp on this, so we don't know how long it was between this game of basketball with the people who were there, the other students, and when he went into those mats. But we're hoping to get all the different angles and put that together in the next few days.
All right. And there are hundreds of pages of unredacted reports. Were investigators focusing on anyone specific? Do we know?
Well, we do know that they were focusing on a few students at Lowndes High School. We know that they pulled their attendance records, they pulled their class schedules, but just a few students, and they didn't do it for all of the other people, of course, at the school or in even all of his classes. And there was one student who was not a student at this high school, but another local high school, who they interviewed and had fill out a survey and asked about his involvement with Kendrick Johnson in the few days leading up to his death.
Exclusive investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson. Specifically, what school surveillance video can tell us about how he died and what's missing from it? Again, here's Victor Blackwell.
CNN has hired Grant Fredericks and his team at Forensic Video Solutions to analyze the hundreds of hours of surveillance from Lowndes High School. Although he does not believe the jumpy video is the result of editing, he says there are some other major problems.
Those files are not original files. They're not something that an investigator should rely on for the truth of the video. They've been altered in a number of ways, primarily in image quality, and likely in dropped information loss. There are also a number of files that are corrupted because they've not been processed correctly and they're not playable. So I can't say why they were done that way, but they were not done correctly and they were not done thoroughly. So we're missing information.
Frederick says that's likely due to how investigators acquired the surveillance video.
Right now, what they've done is they have left it up to the school district to define what it is they want to provide the police. And I think that probably is a mistake.
According to Lowndes County Sheriff's Office incident reports, a detective watched a portion of the surveillance video the day Kendrick Johnson was found. Then he asked the school board's information technology worker for a copy of the surveillance video for the entire wing of the school with the old gym for the last 48 hours. 5 days later, that IT worker provided a hard drive, and according to the incident report, the detective verified it contained the requested surveillance video.
So the investigator's responsibility is to acquire the entire digital video recording system and then have their staff define what they want to obtain. You don't want somebody who might be party to the responsibility to make the decision as to what they provide the police.
And after hours of analysis, Fredericks questions whether Lowndes County Schools provided all of the surveillance video from the old gym to investigators.
There is a whole of time where none of the cameras provide any record that I've been provided.
Fredericks has all the camera angles and all the video released by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
There are 4 cameras in the gym that records motion from when the lights turn on in the morning until when the lights are turned off at night, except for the area of interest.
The moments before Kendrick Johnson enters the gym. Look at what happens to the recordings from these 4 cameras in the gym. The time is recorded with the video. The first camera captures images from the start of the day until 12:04 p.m. Then, nothing. It picks up again at 1:09 p.m. There's consistent surveillance from the second camera until 11:05 a.m. Then it stops and picks up again more than 2 hours later at 1:15 p.m. The third camera also drops at 11:05 a.m. It picks up again at 1:16 p.m. And from the final camera, there's surveillance until 12:04 p.m., no recording for more than an hour, then it picks up again at 1:09 p.m.
I would absolutely expect there to be some record of that activity, and we don't have any here.
Here's why Fredericks would have expected the motion-activated system to record during that time. During that hour and 5 minutes, several students are seen walking into and out of the old gym from the surveillance camera just outside the gym door. We count 7 male students, and 3 of them walk into the gym within 3 minutes prior to Kendrick Johnson walking in.
I can't tell you whether there was no information recorded in the digital video system, or whether somebody made an error and didn't capture it, or whether somebody just didn't provide it.
When surveillance in the gym resumes at 1:09, we see just these few frames of Kendrick Johnson running in the gym. Here's that moment from all of the cameras in the gym, although there's a record from only 2, and the camera just outside the door. Notice, the hall camera timestamp appears to be 10 minutes behind, and there's no confirmation either time matches the exact time of day. It is the last time his image is captured on video. For the next hour, there are multiple gaps in the video surveillance in the gym.
And that is crucial. It's a really important time.
Well, it really is the only option to answer the question, really what happened.
And there's no video showing the initial discovery of a body in the gym. The next time we see Kendrick Johnson is the following day when he's being wheeled out of the gym in a body bag.
Do you believe it's a coincidence that that time period in the gym is missing?
Oh boy. Investigators are always suspicious and should be suspicious. And it's suspicious that that time period is not there. So yes, I would be suspicious. And until I have the digital video system in my hand, until I can say, or an investigator can say, everything is intact, this was what's recorded, I would still be highly suspicious of this.
So after fighting for months on a city street corner and in the county courthouse to get the surveillance video, Kendrick Johnson's parents still do not know who was in the gym before Kendrick ran in, nor who, if anyone, was there or what happened in those moments after.
Victor Blackwell joins us now. So what's the school district and the sheriff's department saying?
Well, Anderson, we sent a long list of questions to both an attorney for the sheriff's office and an attorney for the Lowndes County School District. Well, we have not received an answer to our questions from the attorney for the sheriff's office, but we have received a response from the attorney for the school district. No comment. Although that attorney has said that he will make the original hard drive available to the court. And of course, the Johnsons want to make sure that all the information from the school's hard drive was then given to the sheriff's office, which they hope eventually was all passed on to them. And of course, we'll find that out. Anderson.
And remind people that her son was found dead from severe injuries along with evidence of a 2-pronged stun gun use. An initial report by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office concluded that the teen reached for a loose shoe that fell in the center of the mat. They say he then became trapped in the mat, which was propped upright behind the bleachers, and died from being upside down for an extended period, says the report. Officials also said Kendrick was alone at the time, but Kendrick Johnson's family maintained that the teen had been murdered, noting his bloated head and face during the first autopsy. When a court granted a request to have Kendrick Johnson's body exhumed and re-examined by an independent pathologist, The second autopsy found hemorrhaging on the right side of his cheek and determined the death was the result of a homicide with evidence of blunt force trauma to the right side of Kendrick's neck, near the jaw. The Lowndes County coroner Bill Watson said he stood by the original autopsy and ruled that Kendrick died from unexplained, non-accidental blunt force trauma, which was caused by asphyxia or suffocation. Since the state also supported the original report, there was no suspects in the death. The second autopsy revealed that Kendrick's body had been stuffed with newspapers before burial, sparking suspicions of possible organ harvesting. "We have been let down again," said Kendrick's father, Kenneth. "When we buried Kendrick, we thought we were burying Kendrick, not half of Kendrick." The independent pathologist who conducted the second autopsy said he was unsure who did not return the organs to the body, before adding later, "When we got the body, the organs were not there." The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which performed the first autopsy, and the Harrington Funeral Home, which embalmed and buried Kendrick Johnson, both denied responsibility. A GBI representative said the organs were in Kendrick Johnson's body when it was given to the funeral home, which said it received the body without any organs. The Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice said in a statement there was not sufficient indication of a civil rights violation to authorize a civil rights investigation. Photos from the high school gym in Valdosta, Georgia, showed Kendrick Johnson's shoeless legs trapped in the mat. Another photo, which places doubt on the claim of accidental death, showed Johnson's face bloated with pooled blood, some of which had poured out of his body and onto his locks and the floor. Kendrick Johnson's family eventually retained the legal services of civil rights and personal injury attorney Ben Crump. Months later, video footage of Kendrick Johnson in the Lowndes High School gym showed that the teen was not alone on the day he died. Crump said the video footage is proof that there is some conspiracy to conceal the truth from the family and the public as to who killed Kendrick Johnson. "We believe that somebody corrupted this video." In the video, Kendrick Johnson can be seen walking down a hallway and then turning into the school's gym. Once he enters the gym and veers right, he is not seen on the surveillance video again. The video ends with students leaving the school. Kendrick Johnson was also known on video walking across the basketball court with another student trailing him. A second clip jumps that shows Kendrick Johnson running and other students appear in the shot later, making it appear as if a quick edit was made, considering how abruptly other students appeared.
It's the second time Jacqueline Johnson cried next to her son Kendrick's grave. The first time he was being lowered into the ground. This time he's being pulled out of it.
Did you ever expect you'd have to exhume his body?
No, I didn't expect to have to bury his body.
In June, Kendrick's body was sent to Florida. The Johnsons hired Dr. Bill Anderson to conduct an independent second autopsy. In that autopsy, Anderson told the Johnsons he'd found evidence that Kendrick died as the result of a blow to the neck and not accidental asphyxia, after slipping into a rolled gym mat at school, as investigators in Georgia had said. But what Dr. Anderson did not find shocked them.
When we got the body for the second autopsy, that organs, the heart, lungs, liver, etc., were not with the body.
The brain?
The brain, they were all absent.
Every organ from the top of Kendrick's head to his pelvis gone, and his family had no idea.
We have been let down again. And when we buried Kendrick, we thought we was burying Kendrick, not half of Kendrick.
I'm not sure at this point who did not return the organs to the body, but I know when we got the body, the organs were not there.
So CNN contacted the two entities that had custody of Kendrick's body and access to his organs: the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which conducted the first autopsy in January, and Harrington Funeral Home, which the Johnsons chose to embalm and prepare Kendrick's body for burial days later. A spokeswoman for the state tells CNN after its autopsy, the organs were placed in Johnson's body, the body was closed, then the body was released to the funeral home. State investigators say it's their normal practice, but what happened after his body arrived at the funeral home was anything but normal.
What was in the place of the organs?
Newspaper.
Newspaper.
Dr. Anderson showed me the pictures of Kendrick's body he'd taken during the second autopsy.
It's a Black Friday ad, JCPenney ad.
Yes.
Stuffing that newspaper in like he was a garbage can inside his body. It's unbelievable.
I'd imagine that that's a different kind of pain.
Yep.
Why do you think that there would be newspaper stuffed in your child?
I never heard of that before. Never.
Neither had the founder of a National Embalming Academy contacted by CNN, who said it's not consistent with the standards of care in the industry. Nor had the president of the National Association of Medical Examiners, who told CNN he's never heard of this practice.
Why would the funeral home discard his organs and stuff them with newspaper?
The question is, why didn't he tell us?
So what exactly did the Harrington Funeral Home do with Kendrick's organs? And why was he stuffed with old newspaper? We went to their office to find out, but their response to us? No comment. However, in a letter to the Johnsons' attorney, Harrington Funeral Home owner Antonio Harrington denies he received Kendrick's organs. He writes in part, his internal organs were destroyed through natural process and henceforth were discarded before the body was sent back to Valdosta. It's another disappointing answer for parents determined to know what happened to their son before and now after his death. And they admit they're struggling.
Unbearable, just about. Only thing that wakes you up in the morning is just to keep pushing.
Victor Blackwell joins us now. This is an unbelievable newspaper inside this young man's body. I understand there's an investigation into where Kendrick Johnson's organs went and why. What do we know about it?
Well, Anderson, we contacted the Georgia Secretary of State's office because they issued licenses to funeral homes. We wanted to check on the history of Harrington Funeral Home. And when we told them why we were calling, they decided that they too wanted to know where are Kendrick Johnson's organs, and they wanted to know more about this process, this practice of stuffing bodies with newspapers, something that they'd never heard of either.
How was the family's autopsy doctor able to determine the cause of death then?
Yeah, I asked him, if the organs aren't there, how can you determine how Kendrick died? Well, he says that essentially blunt force trauma was not in the organs, it was in the right side jaw, which was actually noted as bruised during the paramedics report on the day he was found. He dissected the jaw, which had not been dissected in the first autopsy, found bleeding under the skin. He dissected the left side as well, did not find the bleeding, and he concluded that that bruising indicated, also with the bleeding, that there was blunt force trauma, that Kendrick took that blow to the neck.
You know, Victor, one thing I hadn't noticed, and actually a viewer who works in gyms noticed and tweeted me about this the other day, was that it looks like all the mats are rolled really tightly, except for the one that Kendrick was found in. That seems to have had a large opening.
The new video evidence prompted U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Georgia, Michael Moore, to announce his intentions to lead a federal investigation into Kendrick Johnson's death. The following year, Kendrick Johnson's family sued the funeral home and charged the teen's remains, alleging that Harrington Funeral Home was not only negligent but also committed fraud while handling their son's body. After the lawsuit was filed, more than 100 people, including Kendrick's former classmates, were subpoenaed by a federal grand jury investigating the teen's death. Right around the second anniversary of Johnson's death, his parents filed a $100 million lawsuit against elected officials and law enforcement officials, alleging that a local FBI agent encouraged his sons, who were schoolmates of the victim, to violently assault the teen. Brandon and Brian Bell, the brothers accused of involvement in Kendrick Johnson's death, denied any wrongdoing. That lawsuit was eventually dropped. Came on the heels of a separate wrongful death suit filed by the family over the summer against local school administrators. The DOJ in 2016 announced that its investigation had found insufficient evidence to support federal criminal charges. To add insult to literally injury, Johnson's parents were subsequently ordered to pay legal fees for the lawsuit that they dropped. The judgment sided with attorneys seeking to reclaim $850,000 after the Johnsons and their attorney dropped a $100 million lawsuit against the school and city and county leaders. It's like we're having to pay for my son being murdered," said Jackie Johnson, Kendrick's mother. In 2021, Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Polk reopened the case as a means of restorative justice for Kendrick's family. The following year, Ashley released a 16-page report finding no evidence of foul play and affirmed prior findings in the case. A copy of the report showed that Ashley dismissed the idea of a cover-up or any conspiracy theories. Ashley, in turn, offered a reward of $500,000 for any information that leads to an arrest and conviction for Kendrick Johnson's alleged murder. As of 2025, Kendrick Johnson's family is no closer to having the answers they seek.
His body discovered upside down in a gym mat at school. Investigators ruled it an accident.
That's what evidence showed.
But his family
My family never asked for nothing but the truth.
and many others
No justice! No peace!
don't believe that.
He is a liar. Kendrick was murdered at Lowndes High School and no one has been held accountable.
Will Kendrick Johnson's family ever get closure? And are the answers still out there?
"17-year-old Kendrick Johnson still had his life in front of him. High school prom.
10 years have passed since the death of Kendrick Johnson.
Kendrick went to school with a book bag and he was returned to his parents the next day in a body bag.
His body discovered upside down in a gym mat at school. Investigators ruled it an accident.
That's what evidence showed.
But his family
My family never asked for nothing but the truth.
and many others
No justice! No peace!
don't believe that.
He is a liar. Kendrick was murdered at Lowndes High School and no one has been held accountable.
Will Kendrick Johnson's family ever get closure? And are the answers still out there?
"17-year-old Kendrick Johnson still had his life in front of him. High school proms, graduation, marriage, kids of his own. But 10 years ago today, some of his Lowndes High School classmates found his body inside a rolled-up gym mat.
It wasn't until last year, 9 years later, that investigators released their final ruling, calling his death an accident. That may have ended it for law enforcement, but not for Kendrick's family and countless supporters.
Well, after the ruling, I conducted an extended interview with Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Polk. I wanted to hear firsthand why he's so sure Kendrick was not murdered.
And I sat down one-on-one with Kendrick's mother, Jackie Johnson, to find out why she is convinced he was.
He was in the mat. They found him there. It's, did it seem possible to you that happened?
No, it's not possible that he can fall into a mat. It's not even logical.
No way that this could have happened.
No.
But they told you that, so what did you do? What did you and your family do when they told you what was going on?
And when they told us there, whatever you want to call it, we just began, in fight mode. We already know that this is a city that cover up stuff.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragic thing what happened to son. You never want to outlive your children. And I hate it for Miss Johnson, Jackie Johnson. I mean, it's something that'll never go away, and there'll always be, no matter how much evidence on any case, there's always going to be a little bit of doubt what happened to my son. And I realize that. But all I can do is the best I can do from the evidence I've got. And that's what I put out here, and that's what the evidence showed.
They said Kendrick didn't have no bruises. There were no marks on Kendrick. But when we seen him, my God, how can you even, state that on the news that he didn't have any bruises?
First autopsy was GBI, and it said positional asphyxiation accident.
Unsatisfied with the results of the investigation, the Johnson family ordered a second autopsy and hired an independent pathologist.
Approximately 2 years later, he was exhumed, and it was a paid-for autopsy by Dr. Anderson out of Florida, who worked with the Orange County coroner's office at one time, I believe. I don't know. And he came back. There was blunt force trauma, I believe, to the neck.
After the second autopsy, the U.S. Justice Department opened its own investigation into Kendrick's death. It also had an independent Department of Defense medical examiner to go through the physical evidence and both autopsies. In 2016, it ruled there was insufficient evidence to support criminal charges against anyone.
What evidence is it that will make you feel better?
The truth. Nothing but the truth. I don't want nothing, no extra, nothing. I just want the truth and the facts about what happened to Kendrick Johnson. And what you can't tell me is my son wasn't murdered, period.
Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Paulk was not the sheriff when Kendrick Johnson died. He was elected as sheriff for a second time in 2016.
Now, shortly after being elected, Paulk asked the Justice Department for all of the materials in the case and did his own investigation. He closed the case a year ago, ruling Kendrick's death an accident.
But where did things go so wrong between law enforcement and Kendrick's family? To understand that, we have to go back to the beginning.
To the night of January 10th, when Kendrick was first reported missing, and the next day when his body was discovered. On January 10th of 2013, the lives of the Johnson family changed forever when Kendrick did not show up after school. It was the first day of school after the holiday break. Jackie Johnson contacted law enforcement to help her locate her missing son. She says she was not satisfied with how they handled the initial call.
Instead of them, looking for Kendrick, the first thing the officer would say was, he's probably out with some fast-tailed girl. And I was like, no, Kendrick knows that I don't play about school nights, period.
The next day, January 11th, Kendrick's body was found in a rolled-up gym mat by a class of students. Not knowing if Kendrick was alive or dead, the coach turned the gym mat from its upright position to the ground.
When he was discovered, the coach went away and brought it down because they didn't know if he was deceased at the time or just still breathing.
Authorities alerted Kendrick's family, but when his mother went to the school, she was not happy with what she saw.
When I was sitting out there at the schoolhouse, they never locked the school down. Kids were walking all past me. Kids was passing by me crying, and it's a shame that nothing was done as it should have been done. If this had been a black child at that school would have been locked down.
The school was locked down, but only for a short time. Students were kept at school to be interviewed to see if there were witnesses. Eventually, investigators issued a statement saying there was a possible homicide at the school. But there were no indications of foul play. The question became, how did Kendrick get into the gym mat? What has been explained to me that students would hide their expensive, tennis shoes, athletic shoes in the mats or near the mats?
They would drop them down to the core of the mat. The mats are rolled up with a strap around them, so it leaves about a 14 to 16-inch hole, depends on what type mat it is, down the middle, hollow.
During the holiday break, several gym mats were assembled vertically in the corner of the gym. They were roughly 700 pounds each. Investigators came to believe that Kendrick Johnson reached down for his shoes and became trapped upside down and suffocated. But his mother never believed that.
How can you walk on, it's about 5 bleachers about this high, and then the mat's about, you cannot even go over there and fall into a mat over there. Kendrick he was in the middle mat, so you had to lay down and slide down. You mean to tell me you're going to slide and wiggle down in a mat when your shoulders are 17 and 19 inches wide and the mat was 14? It don't even make sense.
If it had been an outside mat and he did that, he could have turned it over, but it's just by movement. Probably could have turned it over and it had gone horizontal. And he wouldn't have been in a position where you would suffocate, because positional asphyxiation is what it was.
Police say no one saw Kendrick Johnson climb into the gym mat. And although there are several surveillance cameras in the school, not one was pointed at the area in question. Without that evidence, Kendrick's family developed their own theories.
Well, I think my son was led in the gym, tricked in the gym, and he was ambushed, and he was beat. He was hit with the weight to get him down, where they continued to beat him until he was unconscious.
And then they put him in that mat.
And then they rolled him up in that mat.
Investigators have never been able to prove that theory either. But here we are, 10 years later, and Kendrick supporters still believe it.
For the past week, Kendrick's family and friends have been celebrating what they call Kendrick's Angelversary. There were several events held in Kendrick's honor, and as WALB News 10's Mackenzie Petrie reports, many say they owe it to Kendrick to find out what really happened to him.
In a March for Justice rally, people came from across the country to support Kendrick's family and to make a statement they have not forgotten.
It's been 10 long, hard years. And when I say hard years, the crowd get little and little, but I get stronger and stronger. But we made us to know who we is. Because y'all killed our child like that. And it ain't going to be okay. It wasn't okay in 2013. It ain't going to be okay in 2090.
Kendrick Johnson's sister, Kenyatta, held a sibling grief support group with others who have lost loved ones.
I just thank you for doing this. I came all the way from Atlanta to support. I need to be here. I need to get it out because I feel like I'm holding so much anger.
Talk to someone. If it's just, it don't matter who it is, just talk to somebody. It's better to get it out than hold it in.
For many, the events weren't just about giving support. Many need to receive it.
Our children deserve protection. Our children deserve justice, and they deserve to be recognized as valuable citizens.
Could have been any one of our children. As long as they are fighting this and I've got air in my lungs, I'm right there with them.
The Johnson family thanks those who support them. They say they're not fearful and they're not going to back down. Mackenzie Petrie, WALB, your hometown news source.
Race and mistrust have been at the heart of the Kendrick Johnson case from the beginning.
After the break, the fallout after Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Polk closed the case last year.
He is a liar. He told plenty of lies in that 16-page document.
I live by my word. I'll die before I tell a lie.
The mistrust led to multiple lawsuits. We'll tell you what legal action has been taken and might still lie ahead.
Welcome back to our WALB News Special, Kendrick Johnson 10 years later.
Over the last decade, there have been many lawsuits filed by and on behalf of Kendrick Johnson's family.
July 2014, the Johnsons filed a lawsuit naming the Lowndes County School Board, the school superintendent, and the principal of Lowndes High School. In a $100 million civil lawsuit filed in January of 2015, the Johnson family alleged a massive conspiracy. The lawsuit accused brothers Brian and Brandon Bell in Kendrick's death. The courts ruled no evidence confirmed that. The two are forever linked to Kendrick Johnson's death online.
You still believe that they beat up Kendrick, put him in that mat?
I do, because all the evidence points toward them.
What about these boys? I mean, they've gone on down the road.
I mean, like I tell everybody, I don't care about those boys. I just want the responsible party, and if that's where it is, I want those held accountable for what happened to Kendrick.
The Johnson family's attorneys filed another lawsuit in August of 2016, naming 42 defendants, including members of the Lowndes Sheriff's Office and the GBI. A federal judge dismissed the lawsuit and ordered the Johnson family to pay legal fees.
Mistrust of law enforcement. It's always been at the center of the Kendrick Johnson case. Those feelings are deep-rooted for many in the black community. South Georgia has a painful racist history.
And that could partly explain why it's hard for a black mother to accept the death of her son as an accident. When Sheriff Polk reopened the case in March of 2021, he said it was because he wanted to find the truth. He walked me through that process.
And Jackie Johnson explained to me why those efforts did nothing to establish trust.
He is a liar. He is a liar. He told plenty of lies in that 16-page document. He told plenty of lies, and my husband called him out on those lies.
He says that there was no evidence in there.
Yeah, of course, that's what he's gonna say.
Why do you think he would do that?
Because he's allegedly part of the cover-up now.
Don't call me a liar. You can call me a lot of names. You can call me a cracker. You can call me whatever you want to. You can call me any name in the book. A lot of them you can't put on TV. But don't call me a liar.
The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office closed the case in January of last year after a second investigation. Paulk says he personally went through 17 boxes of evidence.
He says he spent a year going through all those papers and everything.
Yeah, it was almost like 7 or 8 months, but there's no way. You got all these other cases going on. You took a whole year just to, no. You can't put officers that were on the case that helped cover it up. You can't put them back on the case. You think they're gonna uncover what they covered up and allegedly be prosecuted?
They feel like I'm not doing my job. They feel like there's cover-ups and everything else, and that's their prerogative. That comes from my job.
They said the case was the 17 boxes were being shipped to here, but then he took it down to it was 15 boxes. Then he said it wasn't, but allegedly 14 boxes.
After reviewing the evidence, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office determined there was no evidence indicating someone else was involved with Kendrick's death. Sheriff Paulk was so confident in the ruling, he offered $500,000 of his own money as a reward for evidence that found Kendrick's killer.
Are you also hopeful that somebody will walk through that door and tell you that, hey, I know something about this case and it's legitimate, and that would be the incentive, that reward?
If it cost me $500,000, it wouldn't bother me one bit. If it takes that to get somebody to tell me something that I don't know or I didn't see in those files, it's worth it. It's worth it to me.
I just felt like that was just a whole slap in the face, especially when this goes against what you just said. You said in your report, and on news, you was 100% sure this was a weird accident. Then come back 4 days later because my husband called you out on all your lies on national news, and then they put up a reward. You looking stupider than you already look.
I don't tolerate it. You could throw boiling water on me and you won't make me as mad if you told me a lie. And I live by my word, and I've always done that. But I have so much confidence in my relationship with the community, any part of the community, African American or whatever else. I never worn a gun. I don't wear a gun anywhere. I don't wear a gun because I tell new sheriffs, and I've been doing this is my 6th term, you can run a sheriff's office on 2 phrases, 3 words: common sense and compassion.
We have spent a lot of time focused on the investigation into Kendrick Johnson's death and the fallout afterward.
But after the break, we remember the person who was Kendrick Johnson.
He's my son and I love him. You know, even after death, I'm gonna continue to love him.
For the past decade, we have kept you updated on the Kendrick Johnson case, but we know little about who he was. Just ahead, more about his life and impact. Ten years after his death, Kendrick Johnson symbolizes many things for many people. Teen tragedy for some, murder mystery for others.
We've seen his picture countless times. We've heard all the theories and reports, but many likely still don't know. Who was Kendrick Johnson? WALB News 10's Alicia Lewis got the answer from those closest to him.
Kendrick Johnson was many things to many people. Most described him to be a great friend, athlete, son, and sibling. The legacy he leaves continues to live on 10 years later. Johnson's family described Kendrick as a self-starter and motivator to all.
He left behind a legacy of wanting to be the best and striving to perfection. And I believe that if you put your heart into any capacity towards a goal, that you'll actually reach it, and that's what he was about.
Even at the age of 17, he inspired his peers to stay on the right path and to follow their dreams. His mother described his personality as soft-spoken but could light up any room.
And I'm so proud of him for being the child that he was. He didn't have to be pushed to go to school. He never said he wanted to drop out of school. He was glad to go because he had his goals already set in life to go to college and then one day become an NFL player. So I am still so proud. For me, you're my NFL player in heaven.
Kendrick Johnson was an athlete. He played football, basketball, and track. Everyone I spoke with told me they believe his talent would have taken him far.
I remember when he was small and when he used to play football or something, he could get mad when they lose. He could be mad when they lose. Just miss him so much till you can't hardly put it in the words how you really miss him.
The family tells me they will continue to fight for justice and celebrate his life for years to come. His legacy will continue in spirit. Alicia Lewis, WALB, your hometown news source.
It has been 10 long years since the passing of Kendrick Johnson.
Throughout this special, we've seen how the Johnson family has kept his memory alive and how they continue to advocate for him.
I keep trying to tell him we ain't going nowhere. We're going to fight until somebody is held accountable.
Just ahead, how the Johnson family will continue fighting for justice no matter how long it takes. And what about the future of his case?
No matter what you believe about the Kendrick Johnson case, you have to respect why some people feel how they feel. Kendrick Johnson's mother, many others, still believe the truth has not come out.
And even though the case is closed, Sheriff Polk told me he is willing to reopen it.
I'm not just fighting for kids, I'm fighting for other kids. That this never happens to another family, that they don't have to suffer the way me and my husband suffer on a daily basis. We don't get a break from suffering.
The Johnson family has been fighting for justice for Kendrick for a decade now. Jackie Johnson has taken Kendrick's story to the popular app TikTok, where she not only advocates for Kendrick, but also other victims in national unsolved cases.
His name is Orenzo Dye, aka Noodle, and he was unalived last year.
Nowadays they just talk, but they talk about nothing.
And I'm asking you, if you've seen her in the Houston, Texas area, please reach out to me, call the police, let them know.
Johnson's TikTok account has amassed over 250,000 followers. Even though Kendrick's case is closed and has been ruled an accident, Sheriff Ashley Polk says that he would reopen the case if new evidence is uncovered.
If they're in that lobby waiting on me right now to get through this interview, and they tell me they've got some viable evidence, I'm going to put them in the same chair you're in, I'm going to listen to the evidence. And if they give me some evidence that I feel like is viable and truthful, case is open. I'm going to look at it, without a doubt.
For now, the Johnson family will continue to fight in Kendrick's memory.
We're going to fight until somebody is held accountable, because there's no such thing as justice. Justice means my child being here with me.
That's not going to happen.
And that's not going to happen. So we'll never have justice. But what we have is accountability of what happened to Kendrick.
Just because we come up with a conclusion doesn't mean we're always right. You never know. You don't ever quit. And like I say, no case is ever closed, in my opinion.
I will fight them to the day I die about my child. And I always tell them, you killed the wrong child, but y'all got the right parents, because we're not going nowhere.
The Kendrick Johnson case is one we've been covering from the start, and it's our promise to you to keep following any new development.